Hey guys, it's Mandy with 2 E's, and you've come to the show Simply Rent It. I am your professional licensed rental consultant, and it is my goal to give you all the tips and tricks you need for your investment property journey. On today's show, I'm covering rental renewals, and I cover the Ames area here in Iowa, specifically Story County. So if you're a landlord in this area, make sure you stay tuned. Yes, it is the middle of October and it is time to start thinking about renewals. I am a rental consultant and part of my job is following many management companies and landlords around town. And I've seen that they're already pushing renewals for the following year. If you've been in this business for more than a year, you're well aware that many people around town have their lease schedule from August to July because of the term of the college. You may also have your lease set up this way, and it's smart if you do so because if you don't, you're really at risk for having a vacant property in the interim. People do subleases and have life changes in between semesters, but it's typical for many people around town to follow suit and have their lease schedule from August to July. It's been a hot topic for the past several years. I think it's a cause of tension for not only tenants but landlords too. And if you're new to this business, you may be thinking, hold up, wait a minute. You're telling me I need to start thinking about renewals and it's only been a couple months since my tenants have been there? How are they going to know if they want to stay for another year? And you know what? I think the exact same thing. When I rented here in town several years ago, rental renewals came out in January. And even then, I thought, oh my goodness, how do I even know what I'm going to be doing? My lease doesn't expire until the end of July. How am I supposed to make a decision right now if I want to sign for another year or not? And this year has been a whole nother thing with COVID-19. COVID-19 has thrown a huge curveball in how the market is behaving as far as rentals and, as sales as well, but I'm covering rentals. So if you have a rental and you don't have it filled currently and it's vacant, you may be getting leads coming in for people who are looking to rent for the following year, the 2021 to 2022 year. So it's really important that you ask the question, when are you wanting to move in? Otherwise, you're going to be making a huge waste of time out of your time and their time because they'll come to look at the property for the following year thinking that they may be able to secure it. In all actuality, it's available currently and you're not wanting to lock somebody in for the following year because ideally, it would be great if you could find someone right now to move in and then stay for the following year. It's always great if you can find a good tenant that will stay more than 1 year. It's less turnover on your property, less expenses, and if you have a great tenant that pays on time, less headache. On the other hand, if you have a property that you have a tenant in and you need to send out a renewal and they haven't responded back, it may be because of COVID-19. I think there's still a lot of uncertainty in the economy and what people are going to do, what the school's going to do. I mean, many schools have mandates in place that they'll have to, shut their doors and go to full remote learning should too many people get sick. And Iowa State is the same way. So not knowing the future and the uncertainty of what's going to happen is going to make decision making for your tenant a little bit more difficult than in prior years. So this may be the year where you take a step back and maybe show a little bit of empathy towards your tenant and grant them an extension to get back to you. Don't grant them too much of an extension that it puts you at risk for not filling your vacancy, but if you think about it, we are in October. It's not the next year yet. There's still plenty of time to figure out and look for new tenants for the following year. I think with the number of vacancies that are currently on the market right now, it's a good indicator of how much uncertainty there really is in the market. So if you reach out now and you say, hey, this is when I usually send out my renewals. I understand that there's uncertainty about what will happen with the school, and you may have some uncertainty in your life as well in regards to what you're going to do and how your job situation is going, because Everybody has had to make changes due to COVID-19. I just want you to know that this is the time I usually send out renewals, but I'm going to make an exception and provide an extension this year for you to get back to me. If for some reason you figure out what you're going to be doing before this extended deadline, please get back to me. Let me know what you plan to do so I know what to do moving forward as well. A little bit of empathy and communication can go a super long ways with your tenant. If they feel like you care about them, they're going to open up more to you and tell you even what they're thinking, as opposed to just waiting and saying, nope, I'm not renewing, or yep, I am renewing. So it's always a good idea to have that line of communication open with your tenant. So I think the most important takeaway from this episode is that if you currently have a vacancy where you don't have a tenant in there and you're seeing this episode about renewing, you may be a little freaked out, but don't worry, because I'm currently also marketing places for rent in town, and there are still people looking. I have done showings, and I think that now people know how the economy is working currently and how school is going. Students are feeling a little more comfortable to sign a lease. And so if you do have a current vacancy, it's a really, really, really important that you ask your potential tenant, when are they wanting to move in? That way you're not wasting time. The second takeaway from this episode is that if you currently have a property that's filled and you're needing to send out a renewal, have a little empathy, make an exception for your deadline, and work with your tenant as much as possible. Have that line of communication open, and it will go such a long ways for you. Hope you got some insight out of this episode. If you have a property that you're wanting to renew and you haven't heard back yet from your tenants, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear how things are working for you. And I post new videos every Friday, so please comment, like, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes that are coming up. And I will see you again next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.